views and opinions expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293 CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
The views and opinions expressed in this program do not reflect those of Wisconsin Voices. The views and opinions expressed by hosts and guests are their own, and their appearance on the program do not imply any endorsement or representation by Wisconsin Voices. Thank you for listening to Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices.
Be a voice.
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 Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org
And learn more on how to be a voice with Wisconsin Voice.
Let's start out. Guest, introduce yourself.
Richard Geldon.
So, Mr. Geldon, you are a candidate for the District 10, which it was previously held by Michael Murphy.
Correct.
So, how's it going?
Good. To introduce myself, I am a lifelong resident of the city of Milwaukee. Before it was the 10th, it was the 16th district. I lived here my entire life. I'm a homeowner for going on 40 years. I'm retired. I retired 10 years ago from the city of Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
And my main concern now is the cost of living to live in my home.
Okay.
Currently, I pay over $550 a month on my city water service bill, in addition to the sewer and water tax, because we get 4 water bills a year. We have all these fees that are taken off the property tax and moved on to the city services. Now we have a new 2% sales tax. And what I would like to do if I'm elected is, after the state mandates, we're required to hire police, fire, put police officers in public schools, fund the city pension, give the Milwaukee Brewers $64 million, and the money cannot be used for the trolley. What's left over, I want to reduce the fees on our water bill to make it affordable to live.
Well, let's start off. I ask every, thanks for the introduction. I ask every person that comes on, what does an alderman do?
First and foremost, it's the city budget. It's where the money is appropriated, how we will borrow money to set up TIF districts, where we subsidize major corporations, which I am against. It would be like you wanting to build an addition to your home and you coming to the city hall and saying, can you borrow me money so I can make an addition on my home, which will increase the value of my property, and then use the increase of that property value to pay back the money that the city borrowed. That will negative school tax, no sewer tax, no city of Milwaukee tax, no county tax. That can go on for 30 years.
Yeah. I don't necessarily, I see where I think the TIDs have a place. And if they're structured correctly, they can be a huge asset to
if you go
city.
Yes, if you go back to the way it was originally intended, it was for industrial development to clean up brownfields, to clean up the land, put a for sale sign for someone to build on it. Now it has increased so many different ways where we can take a TIF once it's paid off, to pay it off an adjoining TIF district.
Mm-hmm.
So that means we have less money coming to the city treasury.
What? Say that again. So if you're saying that if there is a TID and it is being paid off, it's paid off, and it has extra money on it,
and an adjoining TIF is failing to make its payments,
right?
We can take an adjoining TIF to pay off that TIF that we set up that is failing. And also after 1 year after a TIF is paid off, the money can be used to improve the roads within 1 mile of that TIF district. So that's another year, no money's coming to the city treasury.
Well, I'm going to push back a little bit on that because it depends on where you do the TIDs. Or it depends on, that is one of the things that I think that is part of the council's decision to do smart ones. I have, and as an alderman, I have 4 in my district, and one of the biggest ones is Bayshore.
At the time, that was the largest in the state.
It was, and then and actually, it almost went into
Bankruptcy.
because of the way they set it up. They had no collateral for this person, but I mean, we pulled it back out and we saved the city.
It's speculating on land development. The city of Janesville, when TIFs were started over 35 years ago, said they would only do industrial. They wouldn't do residential commercial development.
But the problem is, though, is that when it comes to, especially for housing, developers don't necessarily want, it's not something that they make money on. So a TID actually helps them develop those things.
I've had 2 uncles that built 3 houses in the city of Milwaukee. It can be done.
It can be done, but these are businesses that, and I don't want to, I'm not trying to, let me stop, because I don't want to go back and forth with you, because I'm just trying to get you, your message out there. So I apologize. I'm just trying to understand or get to
But
where you're
my
going.
main focus is to make it affordable to live in your home.
What, so that is one of the things you would work on. Usually people have 3. You want to bring the water bill, or it's not as simplistic as just bringing the water bill down, but you want to do some of the things.
The fees.
The fees,
Yes.
but you're
And our other source of revenue is the Milwaukee Water Department to sell water. I would like us to sell more water to the suburbs.
okay.
There was a program that was created in Milwaukee by an alderman who's no longer in office to give free water to a company to come to Milwaukee or expand. No takers. Public Service Commission had to authorize it. After 1 year, the Public Service Commission came back and expanded that program. Still no offers. We have to sell water outside the city limits. That's to the suburbs.
To bring in revenue.
Yes.
You're saying that is
Yes.
a good revenue. You're
yes.
saying that's a good revenue.
Oh, yes, because during the Great Depression, no city worker was laid off. There was a cut in pay during the Great Depression because the mayor at the time relied on revenue from the water department. We were selling water for twice the cost of what it cost the local residents inside the city of Milwaukee. And 2 times the mayor in Milwaukee, Mayor Hone, was on the cover of Time magazine, How to Run a City.
Okay. And that's
So
kind of how you are.
It's been done before.
You're kind of looking at the past practices of other mayors, of our decisions that were made from the city and bringing those in.
I currently live under 6 mayors, and I worked for 4 mayors as a city employee. I've been removed from city employment for 10 years. It's not getting better. I believe it's getting worse, especially the tax and the fees. There was talk of a tree fee. We have a street light fee. We have a wheel tax. We have a garbage cart fee. Where's it going to stop?
Where else do you see revenue coming in?
Well,
I'm just, because it seems like this is your theme.
Oh, yes.
And I was just wondering.
The state sales tax. It's not just the city of Milwaukee not getting its fair share from the state share revenue. It's the whole state of Wisconsin. Doesn't matter if it's a Republican governor or a Democrat governor. And when the sales tax issue was brought up in the state legislature last year, I don't know what kind of talks were going on between the city and the state.
We do have a caller. We're just going to give you the number, 414-444-5250. Caller, go ahead. Hello. We had a hard time hearing you. All right, go ahead now.
Okay, yeah. At first I couldn't hear you over the phone, but I hear you now. I was hearing you over the radio, but I wasn't hearing you over the phone. But I got you now. Am I coming through?
Yes, you are.
Okay, good. Okay, good morning to all.
Good morning.
Good morning, Alderman, Alderperson.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Milwaukee. Tyrone W. speaking. Thank you for gracing us with your presence this morning. Wonderful topic and a lot of different things on the table. But I guess I just wanted to touch base with you and dialogue and put a couple questions to you there and see what your response is to them there. You speak about the taxes and the money and the different taxes and all of that. And then I want to touch on well, let me do that first. You speak about the taxes and the money. Is the city and the city and the county of Milwaukee? You're talking about selling water. Are we getting our bang for buck? You don't have to answer right away there because I wanted to give you the question and then listen to you over the air there because for Summerfest, not so much the ethnic festival, but them two following Summerfest. Are we getting the bang for our buck each and every summer for having Summerfest? So I mean that with the use of the land and everything, are we getting our bang for buck? Bang the power and the bang of the buck for Summerfest every year and every season, as well as the ethnic festivals, but mainly Summerfest.
Well, thank you. That's a very good question because there was 3 times of increases of fees that the city of Milwaukee collects from Summerfest. Okay. 2 times were from 2 different aldermen. The 3rd time the mayor had to step in. We've had 3 increases in fees from Summerfest. Summerfest was created by the city of Milwaukee. The person that retired from the Summerfest board was collecting nearly $1 million for his services to run that board. We are not getting our full benefit from Summerfest.
Okay, I thought not. Yeah. Well, thanks for that. But then on the way out, then, and I'll leave you with this. Where does the rubber meet the road when it comes to power? When it comes to of course, you and your colleague, the alderman, superintendent, MPS, school board superintendent, as far as what we need to do, and I'm hoping that Ms. Tamika does get her building as Wisconsin Voices. I'm hoping that we can team up with her and help her get her building, as opposed to having those buildings being so stagnant. But where does the rubber meet the road with the power? And that includes the mayor and executive, everybody, superintendent, school board. Where does the rubber meet the road with the power to say, well, let's get busy with these buildings? Thank you very much, then. Have a wonderful season. Thank you.
Was he talking about school buildings?
So he's talking about he's talking about all the buildings that are vacant. How do we get rid of them? How do we bring them back into tax rolls? I believe that's what he's saying. How do we get these MPS schools that are where does the city and the county and the school board kind of come together and do something about
Well, there's a program at the old Boys Tech, which is now the technical high school, where they were building homes and rehabbing them. That could be expanded. As far as getting more resources and trying to have everyone come together, I'm proposing that the 24 city budget be frozen for 2025 until we get an estimate of the payments we receive back from the state of Wisconsin from the sales tax. We'll receive about 4 payments a year. There's too many estimates of what revenue we are going to receive. That's why I propose that we freeze this year's budget for 25 and see what we have for revenue sources. And from there, we can go forward if we want to rehab homes, redo buildings into more affordable housing.
We had another call. Caller, go ahead.
Yes, my comment is to you, both of you all, is that I looked at the taxes. All the taxes went to salaries. And it is sad that our city is in such a deplorable state. And I hear you talk about, always say this, the police department. It's all branches of the services that service us. It is not just them. It is, we have the Fire and Police Commission. We have the people who are on the legislation who makes the laws, who do not be made accountable for the actions that they take. Also, I heard you speak about the water bill. I do agree with you on the water system. It needs to be down lower, and it needs a change in the water system. I agree with that. But I also am just a franchise in the fact that I don't see your name on this ballot here. And we got so many different referendums, and it's sad that the election commission cannot explain it, and they state that the state tells them that they are not allowed to tell people about these referendums and ballots. It is sad. What I am asking you at this time, how will you work with that? And also, I do agree with you on the revenue part, because I feel that the brewers have made big money off of people only in Milwaukee County, but in the other suburban counties, they have not paid their fair share. But the whole fair share came from the Milwaukee County, in which they have not paid us back our revenue, as to the fact that they have been in that building long enough and they have made a lot of money. Some are billionaires, that trillionaires. And it is really sad that they need to start paying back the people who they took the money from to build that building that they have, and they failed to do so. I'm asking these questions, and I'm also asking you another question. I attend the Catholic Church, and I am upset at the things that I heard the priest say on Sunday about people going back in slave ships and stuff. And this is the way they want it to be. But unfortunately, I am sorry. Before I allow that, they gonna go back with me. So I say this to say this for a reason. I am tired of you all coming on airways only at the time of election, and I can name some names. And so if you haven't shown us what you're going to do in the inner city, and the way you're going to help generate and revenue this stuff. Now look at the school taxes. All of it goes to their salaries. They're asking for $20 million on this ballot right now. $40 million on this ballot. What is that going to do to help? Because I take this as a reason. I am tired of them shipping people from other states here, and that our city is in a terrible shape.
Well, one of the things
they haven't did anything to really help the inner city, our children's lives, the lives that they have taken. I'm tired of this situation. I'm also tired of We Energy. I'm tired of them saying that they.
Catch Wisconsin Voices via Voice Radio every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. as we focus on community partnerships, voter education, and long-term collective impact for all Wisconsinites.
You're listening to Wisconsin Voices via Voice Radio. Follow us at BAWI Voice and learn more at wisconsinvoices.org. Wisconsin Voices 3 pillars: protecting democracy, teaching advocacy, building community.
He is not an alderman at this time. He is running. He is a candidate in District 10. I think the previous caller thought that he was. Both of them thought that they were, unless they were saying hi to me, and that's the only thing I can think of, Secondly, that's why she made a comment that only people come in when it's election time, but that is why Wisconsin Voices is here. We are doing these candidate interviews just to let them know who is on the ballot. And then we're going to be bringing people back once they get on the ballot to tell us what they're doing in their district. What are they working on, and having some kind of accountability. So we are working on that. We just got here in January, so we're going to keep going through the year. I'm bringing candidates in and letting our elected officials answer. So go ahead, sir.
Yes, to the previous caller when she was talking about the payments for elected officials, the sales tax, they're using that money to give bonuses to current staff members of the mayor's office. There are currently 2 former alderpersons who are on the staff of the mayor, and a third who left city higher government, who worked in the state capitol under the previous governor, Tony Evers. He came back to city service. So we have this same group of officials and staff members running city government. There's been no change. There will be no change. There must be a change. That's why I'm running. I would like to see better services provided. We just had a major snowstorm. The city will not come by and collect your trees. In the past, after a windstorm, tornado, windstorm, rainstorm, if trees were down that were not even the city-owned trees, you could put them on the curb and they would be picked up. I called the mayor's office directly and explained it to them. They came and picked up only my trees, but not my neighbors. City services has gone down. There are no managers or staff members in the upper ranks of city government that will make a change because they are under the mayor's office. As your alderperson, I will bring back the changes that we used to have in Milwaukee when I first started employment with the city in 1979.
Well, thank you. Richard Geldon, he is running for Alderman in District 10. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. We have we have a kind of a busy schedule today. We got another candidate coming in. Well, she used to be my city or my county supervisor, but she is now running for comptroller for the county. Introduce yourself.
Thank you. Hello. I'm Liz Sumner. I am current county board supervisor for District 1, which is the North Shore communities, and I am running for Milwaukee County Comptroller.
So I'm going to ask you every question I always ask. What does a county comptroller do?
Sure. It's essentially the CFO, the chief financial officer of the county, or the fiscal watchdog. Departments like accounting, accounts payable, payroll, debt service, audit, and research services are under the county comptroller's purview.
You go on from a nice cushy supervisor job to a nice and you want to be a comptroller. Why did you decide to run for this?
Mm-hmm. Well, right now, for the past term, I have served as the chair of the finance committee. So I work really closely with our current comptroller and the department heads underneath him. I knew that our comptroller was most likely not going to seek re-election, and I thought that it would be a really great fit for me. I am a small business owner. I also have an MBA from the University of Chicago with concentrations in finance and strategy. And then I think in addition to the county finance experience that I've had these past 4 years, that I would just be a really great fit for the role.
I don't know why. I love numbers, so I get it. I mean, yes, I love numbers. What kind of, we talk about all these different things and why do you want to do it? I'd like to dive in on who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just a little bit about what makes you tick, what makes you want to be a public servant, I guess.
Okay. Well, let's see. I'm born and raised in Milwaukee, grew up in the Sherman Park neighborhood until I was 9. We moved to Shorewood, graduated from Marquette University with a double major in French and political science, moved away for a couple of years.
I'm sorry, I had to say that.
Hey, I know. For a while, I contemplated becoming a French teacher or a French professor. But the passion from the students just isn't there. And then so I moved to Chicago for a while and moved home to open my store. So I own a women's clothing store in Shorewood. And then we bought a house in Box Point in 2012. And I just kind of got interested in local government at that point and decided to run for village board. So that was sort of my first experience with running a campaign and getting out in the public and meeting people and representing people.
Are you still on that?
I am. My term is up. So I've been on the village board for 9 years and my term is up this spring and I'm not seeking re-election for that position.
That's in Fox Point, right?
It is. Yes. Yeah. And that really ignited my passion. And so, and I kind of wanted to increase my ability to serve people in the community. I ran for state assembly in 2018. Was not successful in that campaign, but when the opportunity came to run for county board supervisor, I thought, this is really great. Like, I love that it's like in Milwaukee County. I can really, like, people can call me with issues that they're having and I can solve them. Like, it's really rewarding. And so I think from that, getting involved in county finances, I just see this role as comptroller sort of like the next step in my evolution as a member of this community.
414-444-5250. If you have any questions for the Milwaukee County Comptroller, Liz Sumner, what do you, everybody has kind of like their campaign thing. What do you want to do with this office? What do you see? Do you see some things that are really good? Do you see things that need to be changed, and how can you change them?
Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of what the comptroller does is governed by state statutes. It's a lot of money management. But I do think our current comptroller has been in the role for a long time. And I think, as with anything, it's always good to get a fresh set of eyes on things. And so my goal is just to work the relationships that I have with leaders in county government to try to figure out ways to make their lives easier, and then also hopefully save money, which then we can invest in needed areas of county services and like deferred maintenance of buildings and things. So that's I guess, so modernization, and things like that.
We got a caller. Caller
Hello.
there. Hi.
Well, I have a question for the comptroller.
Wait. We're going to make sure we say candidates for the county comptroller.
Okay, candidate. From Fox Point, why Milwaukee County?
Fox Point is in Milwaukee County.
Okay,
it's one of the municipalities.
It's one of the municipalities.
Mm-hmm.
And your goal is to do what in that position? What do you hope to accomplish?
Well, I hope to make sure that our county finances are managed appropriately, first and foremost. And then I, look to modernize it, find efficiencies so we can save money in areas and hopefully invest them in others.
Do you have a plan for that?
I mean, yes, I do. It's on my website. You can go to liz4formke.com.
That's going to tell me your vision of what you want to happen, right?
Yes. Yeah.
What do you see the problem now with the current person in office? What do you see wrong with what's going on? Not really with the person, but with the position itself.
Sure. I mean, to be honest, the current comptroller is doing a great job. He's just not running for re-election. So I think a lot of what's happened in the department is really effective, and they're meeting the needs of the county financially. So I do plan to continue on with that. But I do also think that, as a new person coming into the job, just like with any position, there's, you have a different perspective. And so I think that using my particular skill set and looking at how the comptroller's relationship with county departments, that there will be opportunities to make some changes. But I think it's the sort of thing that really needs to be determined once you're in office, having meetings with department heads to really find out how they can be better served.
And you're ready to challenge those people with, stand hard positions on what they want to see. Are you willing to challenge and maybe, stir it up a little bit?
I'm willing to have, reasonable conversations with people. I like to hear points of view from all different sides and sort of take all of the information and determine what I think is the best approach to solve a problem.
Now, you say you live and you're part of Milwaukee County, so you've seen what goes on and how the flow is and everything like that. And I guess my thing is, are you going to be one of those candidates that's going to actually come in and try to do something about the current atmosphere with the comptroller? Or I know what you're saying, you're going to talk to different department heads. They all do, because I'm in government. But I'm just wondering, because I see a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but there's a few people vying for that position. And I'm just kind of curious on what are they trying to change? What are you trying to change?
Well, there's two people, and I want to make it clear she is running for Milwaukee County Comptroller.
City Comptroller.
Not there's two people that are running. It's for a city controller, and then there's two people who are running for county comptroller. I guess I think his question is, what do you want to I guess I don't like that. What do you want to change? It's do you see something that needs to be changed? Is it the status quo and you're good with it, or do you want to improve? And I think that's.
I think there's always room for improvement. Yeah. What if there what in particular? I don't have any targeted areas that I think need improvement. The comptroller's office is functioning very effectively at the county. So I think it's the sort of thing that when you as you go in and have conversations with people, things will pop up that will need to be improved and can be changed. But I don't have any specific areas that I could say, this needs to be done. I will say that there definitely needs to be modernization that needs to occur in the comptroller's office.
That's
implementation of software that can, eliminate some steps in areas. It can definitely happen. I plan to have our IMSD department go in, which is our technology department, go in and do an audit of the different departments and make suggestions for software implementations that we can put in place that will make everybody's lives easier.
We have a caller. Caller, go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call. Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak. Listening to the candidate, and she's running for county supervisor position.
No,
right?
She's running for. She is a supervisor now, but she is running for Milwaukee County Comptroller, which is like the auditor or the accountant of the county.
That keeps track of where the money goes and how it's being dispensed or dispensated
and invested. It's
and all of those things.
Yes.
Understood it. Okay. Well, listening to the candidate, I hear the candidate say a lot of times, I guess, and I know those are placeholders when you are processing thought. And then I understand that the candidate is from Fox Point and Sherwood, and those are rich areas, very, very rich areas in the county of Milwaukee. So, with those things being understood, and this person is seeking our endorsement, our backing, and our votes, how is it that we are to understand that this person would actually have compassion or empathy and understanding for the poorer parts of the county? And she's sitting in the studio of a zip code that is representative of one of the poor parts of our county. So how can a person who comes from richer parts come to the poor people, like in the Hunger Games, and expect us to have understanding from her perspective? How can we have a meeting of the minds, whereas you will benefit us? Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. So my district is arguably the wealthiest district in the county. And I think if you talk to any of the county board supervisors that I worked with, they would tell you that I really haven't asked for almost anything for my district in the 4 years that I've served it. I understand that there has been a lack of investment in particular areas of the county for decades, and I saw my role as more of supporting and, I guess just supporting investment in those areas. So I understand that there are a lot of needs in the county and that my district really doesn't have want for much. So and perhaps that answers your question.
No, you know what? It's a county. You have to have representation. We have how many counties are in? I mean, how many cities are in Milwaukee County? 19 municipalities going all the way from the Oak Creek, Franklin, all the way up to I think the last one is Bayside. So that is it is a representation of the whole county. We have one more caller, and then we're going to go to break. Caller,
Good morning.
Caller, go ahead.
Yes, okay, thank you. I'll make this quick then. I really appreciate this. This is real nice. I would love to have more mail outs and meet some of these people knocking on doors. Come knock on the door so we can shake hands with you, meet some of these people and look them eye to eye. I would love to have that type of dialogue as well as this, but this is real beautiful, very, very nice. So thank you, Miss Tamika, and thank you, WNOV. Good morning, dear candidate. Tyrone W. speaking. As far as the position goes, what some of it was answered in a couple callers there. That you mentioned something about the auditing, and that's wonderful. So that's good that you're going to be doing the auditing of these big spenders and all, and where some of the money. Hopefully, you're working out a plan with your staff and teammates and all that are going to hold these not so well doers accountable, and the revenue being spent well, and how can we betterly accommodate ourselves as a city, a state, and a county with the surpluses that when we have a surplus, such as getting more money from the Summerfest people, on and on and on and on, all these people that are milking different things there. How can we get to a point where we've got a surplus and then give it back to the people? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. It's I think his question was well, I just want to clarify something, that where the comptroller comes in is the budget is passed by the county supervisors. The budget is given by the executive, the county exec, the supervisors pass it, and then once it's passed, it's in the hands of the comptroller to make sure spending is where it needs to be within the budget, hold people accountable, talk to them if they're over budget, things like that, pay the bills. So in this position, the responsibility is not necessarily cutting, the budget itself, but it's making sure that whatever budget or resolution is passed, that they're held to the standard. Well, I thank you, Liz Sumner. She is running for Milwaukee County Comptroller. Good luck.
Thank you.
Please join Wisconsin Voices every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. We will be focusing on community partnerships, voter education, and long-term collective impact for all Wisconsinites.
You're listening to Wisconsin Voices Be a Voice Radio. Follow us at BAWI Voice and learn more at wisconsinvoices.org.
The 3 pillars of Wisconsin Voices are protecting democracy, teaching advocacy, and building community. Learn more about Wisconsin Voices and our partners at wisconsinvoices.org. Stay up to date on our community events page and get involved by visiting our donation page.
I was just trying to say,
Yeah, I got his freedom shirt on.
listen, Tamika is one person you do not want to catch on a hot mic. That's what I was That's what I said.
I warn people, don't put me on speakerphone when you call. Like if I call you.
Cause she do it on purpose, let alone on a hot mic where she knows all. God.
Yeah. You know what? We got
I ain't mad at her because people start answering the phone for me. Like, I cut it off the glass. She let me like, hello, just let me know I'm on the speakerphone.
I did. So certain people, I do that. I'm like, hey, I got you on speakerphone, or do you have me on speakerphone? And then I'll tell. But thank you guys for listening, for being kind of like, we want to make sure these candidates come and you at least get to hear where they what their stances are, give you information about their website so you can make an informed decision. But as we go,
that they ask those questions.
huh?
I said, and we like that they call in and ask those questions.
Yeah. But as we go through the candidates, there are organizations like mine and groups like mine who do this work both locally, statewide, and nationally. Now we have the homegrown gentleman. He is the assistant director of the Respect My Vote campaign. Can we have a clap, roll, whatever, for our own Chris Walton of the Hip Hop Caucus?
Oh, it did to be on.
Chris, welcome home. Grew up right here on 19th and Capitol.
Right. All my life.
Yeah, he be trying to leave us, but then every time I think I get out, pull him right back out. Chris, thank you for coming. Can you kind of give us a little bit about what is the Hip Hop Caucus and what do you do and what their goals are?
Absolutely. So the Hip Hop Caucus is an organization that we do national work on policy, and we have our state priority states that we do a lot of different work in around environmental justice, climate justice, economic justice, human and civil rights, voting rights, really using the power of hip hop and using that to really influence people to get out there and know their rights, be involved in the process, learn and be able to move policy, because, moving policy, moving music, moving people together.
Oh, so when those artists come out with that political, that's kind of part of it.
A little bit, something like that. We support a lot of different artists. As a matter of fact, one of my colleagues is Dawn Richard, formerly of Danity Kane.
So I love Danity Kane. No, I'm sorry. We in the club. I'm sorry. That was a long time ago, but Audrey was a hot mess. I'm sorry. So you guys focus on, is it not necessarily, is it Black issues or African American issues, or is it all around?
We're focused on really bringing out the hip hop community. Okay. So really our focus is people 14 to 40, now 50 now, since hip hop is now 50 years old. And really,
how about 52? Man,
you can play with us too. Everybody, if you love hip hop, we're talking to you. Just like hip hop has been through generations a sounding board for a lot of the issues that we're facing in policy. We could think back to Tupac talking about how can a man tell a woman when and where to create a baby? That's reproductive freedom issues that we're talking about, especially this year. Now the Supreme Court has taken away the right to reproductive freedom. Brenda had a baby. Making sure that we're talking about the issues that are happening in our housing situation, where housing is exactly pregnancy, housing situations. You can't find a house if you don't have a place to live, if you don't have food to eat, you're probably going to end up committing a crime because you're hungry. And it's not just because you're a bad person, but we have to make sure that we're pushing those policies to fix those issues.
Well, let's talk about your journey because I really want to connect and let people, viewers, young people know that you can start out, in a little house on 19th and Capitol and end up with a national organization, and doing some real work. So don't feel like you have to be from Chicago or from Illinois or California to actually do the work in these national organizations. So kind of tell us your history of how you got to where you were. What steps did you take to get to the Hip Hop Caucus?
So I started out 20 years ago now this summer, working on campaigns, and I've been working on them ever since, from city council up to presidential level,
including my own race here 4 years ago now when I ran for the Wisconsin State Assembly. And it's just been, I even got the opportunity to work for a couple aldermanic races up in the North Shore area.
Hint, guy.
And just really staying engaged, being involved, and also finding the right people who will take a chance on you, who hear you and know your passion, know your interest, and want to keep pushing you forward.
One of the things that, we need more people of color involved in this process. I was blessed when I got some of the steps that I got to get to where I am. I was a bookkeeper or an accounting assistant, and I just started working with, it was at the time, LaTanya Johnson. She was my babysitter, and she was like, I'm finna run for office. With that, I got introduced to David Bowen, and then I worked on his campaign, and I went to work on different campaigns, but that is the outlier. It's not the norm.
Right.
And as soon as we bring all these people to canvas and to do things, and then the opportunities to excel are not there. So one of the things that I push, or I'm trying to push, is teaching people how to use the van, how to, make sure that they're getting the skill sets that are going to get them into the next level. Everybody people can be canvassers, but when do you become an organizer? When you become an organizer, when do you become a person that is going to lead or be a lead organizer, or, a staffer, a campaign manager, then you have social media managers, and these campaigns pay good. They pay well. I mean, I remember when I worked for, I was the what is this called? The Southeastern region for Russ Feingold. I got paid $4,000 a month. And I would work, and I'd have a whole bunch of Zoom calls, and I had to, make a lot of calls, but I didn't have to go out of my house until he actually stepped foot here. And those jobs are available, and they are, but Black and brown communities don't necessarily know about them, or they don't get the training for them. So I think that was why it was important to have Chris here. Where else did you came up through that rank too? I know you worked in all of that.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
And that's why, one of the things, especially where I Respect My Vote campaign, we're getting out into these streets and letting folks know, like, hey, this is how you get involved. These are the issues that are important. If you are somebody, say, for instance, you're a returning citizen, you may not be able to necessarily vote, but you can still go out there and help other people vote. And if you're not on paper, Wisconsin, if you are not on paper, you can vote. And so we want to make sure that we let folks know that. Make sure we get that information out there and just talk about those issues. Because one thing we've been seeing, especially this election year, people are not feeling just the election as it is. But once you tell them about the issues that are important that we're facing, like this upcoming election on April 2nd, they want to actually pass a state constitutional amendment banning, being able to get private grants from outside organizations to help fund these elections. Mind you, we shouldn't have to do this, but due to the people we have in power at the moment in the state legislature, we can't get the money we need to run the elections that will literally replace or keep them in power. Like, I know I saw right now where Milwaukee is filing for an $800,000 grant. Why do we have to go and get a grant? Why shouldn't the state of Wisconsin be putting this money forward already? But due to the current makeup of the state legislature, that's not possible.
Right. And when you have these referendums, you can call your state reps. They have a way of giving you a non-biased answer, like saying what is it really saying, because they like to use different words and confuse you, and then saying if you're going to say yes, what does that yes vote mean? And if it's a no, what does that no vote mean? And you have to do a little bit of research, and we'll be talking about that in the end of this week and early next week about what bringing these referendums and getting the exact meaning of these. Because in you could easily give some rights away because you didn't read it correctly or didn't understand it correctly, because those words, they can put one word in there and you think it means one thing and it means something completely different. Where are you going next?
Next stop's headed to Detroit. We'll be going to Detroit to do some things with the Detroit Change Initiative. Also going to be down in the Hampton Roads area, Virginia, coming up soon. We're going to be doing our another viewing of our movie Freshwater, talking about just the impacts of climate change in the Hampton Roads area, where it's like one of the blackest areas of the country, is also most prone to the next Hurricane Katrina, if a hurricane was to come off the Atlantic and hit that area. Going to be down in North Carolina, going to be in Pennsylvania, of course, New Orleans. We're going all over the country this year, really trying to get folks out to vote, because it's very important. You know, we as a community have so much power in our votes if we actually utilize that. And I know a lot of times we get discouraged, we don't see things moving fast enough for ourselves, but things are moving, things are getting better. But we also have to hold our people accountable. You know, everybody showed up in 2020 because they were mad, but that was still only 4 years ago. Things, you know,
haven't changed.
Things haven't changed in some instances, and they have changed. And we got to make sure that we, the people, make sure our voices are heard, make sure our votes are respected, and make sure people know that we're here.
And also, we have no caller. Oh, we have no caller. It's overall, we need to know who the people on the ballot is, so you can say, at least I heard them one time and I know what they say. If you're going to want me to vote for them, I need to hear something. The second thing is know what these positions do.
Yeah.
So we've been trying to emphasize that. And 3, no matter how small you think your vote is, we always keep saying one vote, one provisional vote can make a difference.
Expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293 CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
The views and opinions expressed in this program do not reflect those of Wisconsin Voices. The views and opinions expressed by hosts and guests are their own, and their appearance on the program do not imply any endorsement or representation by Wisconsin Voices. Thank you for listening to Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices.
Be a voice.
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 Visit WisconsinVoices.org. Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org
And learn more on how to be a voice with Wisconsin Voice.